I can only imagine how many people were looking at Alex Caruso yesterday. Listen, I know Caruso has been out of the Lakers, out of that organization for a while now. So we don't, nobody's trying to talk about that Lakers just got rid of Alex Caruso last year. But there are some, I think it's impossible to see Caruso's success and see his impact that he had on the Oklahoma City Thunder. I actually think Caruso was one of the most important players for the Oklahoma City Thunder this series. And I know people look at it and say, all right, what are you talking about? They got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Hey, if Jalen Williams has a good game, they probably win that game. If he doesn't, they probably lose that game. Chad Holmgren is a key piece. Isaiah Hartenstein's a key piece. Go down the list of all the important players. Alex Caruso is as critical of a player for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Do you guys know this? I saw this yesterday and I was unaware of it. And I got to go back and read a couple of quotes. When Alex Caruso left the Los Angeles Lakers, he was basically pleading for the Lakers. Can you please sign me? Hey, the Chicago Bulls have an offer in front of me. Can you please make it competitive? I'll do that in a second. But Alex Caruso, I've never seen this before. And it's actually the first time it's ever happened. Do you guys know what Alex Caruso's plus minus was yesterday? Do you know what his plus minus was? He played 26 minutes in the game. Listen, the guy, he only had 11 points, so it's not like if you look at his stat line, you're not going to look and say, well, this guy was really, really impactful in the game. He had 11 points. He had 3 steals. He was a plus 40 in the plus minus in just 26 minutes of play. Alex Caruso was a plus 40 in the plus minus in 26 minutes of play. It's the highest plus minus. If I read this correct this morning, it's the highest plus minus in the history of the playoffs for somebody coming off the bench. I think it was even tying the highest of just any plus minus, but I believe coming off the bench, it's the highest, a plus 40 in just 26 minutes. This dude was guarding Nikola Jokic. His defense was phenomenal. I mean, if you go look at Jokic's numbers yesterday, that's not Nikola Jokic. Jokic was 5 of 9 from the field. He only shot 9 shots. Jokic, 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. For any other player, you're saying to yourself, that's a good performance. Jokic was not Nikola Jokic yesterday, and a lot of that had to do with Alex Caruso. So Caruso, who probably weighs 125, 150 pounds less than Nikola Jokic, is guarding Jokic, getting steals, forcing 5 turnovers. I think Nikola Jokic was a minus 23 in the plus minus. It's very, very tough to watch Alex Caruso and not think of the times of like, this dude came up through the Lakers. This dude wanted, desperate to be a Los Angeles Laker. And that's just one of those, I think you could look at moments where the Lakers have done a good job. You could look at moment where the Lakers have cropped their own players. Alex Caruso, Austin Reeves, Jordan Goodwin, I think, is an interesting player that's coming up for the Lakers. You could look at certain signings that the Lakers have made. Man, but the Caruso piece, my God, that was an awful, awful mistake for the Lakers. And I still think you could look at it now and say, well, geez, can you use a Caruso on your team? All right, I'm going to, Laker fans are going to probably be upset about this, but it's okay. Sometimes we got to upset them. I'm going to read you guys a quote real quick. This is Alex Caruso after he ended up signing with the Chicago Bulls. Remember, Caruso ended up signing with the Chicago Bulls. The Thunder make a trade for him. They trade Josh Giddey in the offseason. By the way, he was a good player, but I think for a couple of different reasons, they thought, all right, let's move on from Josh Giddey and let's get a specific player that we think that we can use this year that can be kind of a difference maker, and that's obviously Alex Caruso. Here's what Caruso said a couple years ago. He said, like we just said, a guy who hasn't had a lot of decision-making power, fought for a job. Essentially, 30 teams told him they didn't think I was good enough to play in the NBA for 2 to 3 years. I need to get as much money. This is real life we're talking about. I need financial security for me and for my people. But this is the Laker thing that he said. He said that the Bulls had offered him, obviously put something on the table for him. So essentially we got that offer, went back to LA, asked if they could do the same. They said no. Asked for something else that was a little bit less. They said no. I said, okay, if that's what it comes to, I'm ready to go to Chicago and start the next chapter. So, obviously we know what happens from there. And Alex Caruso has done a phenomenal job in his career. And, it's tough sometimes. You watch some players that, there's some players that have left the Lakers and you're like, yeah, who cares? there's other players that have had a tremendous amount of success since they left the Lakers. You could look at Malik Beasley, all of a sudden was an unbelievable shooter. Go look at the success Julius Randle is having right now with the Minnesota Timberwolves. But it happens. It happens to every team. But I think the Caruso one maybe hits a little bit different because he wanted to be a Laker. He came up through the G League with the Lakers. He was a fan favorite. He won a championship in 2020. And not the best, not the best decision for the Lakers front office. But nonetheless, that front office, nonetheless, Alex Caruso was as good as you can possibly be in a Game 7 scenario. And we'll see how far the Oklahoma City Thunder go. But I don't think anybody here would be shocked or surprised that the Thunder win a championship, that they win the whole thing. I think that's kind of, where they're heading. And frankly, if they do win a championship this early on, we got problems. We got the rest of the NBA's got they got issues. Okay, let me take a look at some of the comments here. And then I want to talk about a couple things from a front office perspective, kind of looking at where the Lakers are, where the Thunder are from a front office perspective, all the teams that are going to be chasing them in the Western Conference, and we'll take it from there. So thank you for hanging out. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Kevin Brown, if by chance OKC does go after KD, I'd love to see the Lakers get involved as a third team to bring Caruso home. Can I tell you something? I don't see the Oklahoma City Thunder going after Kevin Durant. And I don't see them going after Kevin Durant for a couple of reasons. Number one, I don't think they need to. That's the main thing. I don't think they need to. Number two, I think they would, if they go after a player, they're such a smart organization that if they decide they need to go after a player, they're going to think of a player short-term and long-term. Tell me a move the Oklahoma City Thunder have made. It seems like over the last 5-10 years that is not a long-term play. So I think smart organizations like the Oklahoma City Thunder, they don't go after Kevin Durant. They just don't. I think desperate organizations will go after KD. And I'm not even trying to knock KD here, but KD's not 30. And go look at Kevin Durant's last couple of stops. You tell me where he's played other than the Golden State Warriors, who was a legitimate system that whether you're there or you're not, things are, there's a system that's in play. Tell me where he's really had success these last few years. So I just think the Oklahoma City Thunder are too smart to go after KD. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do identify him, and maybe he does come to the Oklahoma City Thunder and he fits into their system. But I'd be surprised that they go after him. I really do. We'll see what eventually happens. But they also probably don't even need to. Kevin, thank you for the super, brother. I appreciate you. HH with the super. Thank you, HH. HH always looking out. Good looking out, brother. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you very much with that 10 spot there. Okay, let's get a couple more comments here, and we keep going. All right, I haven't read this one. What is Caruso going to do? We need to start with Luka, not a guy that averages 7 points a game and comes off the bench, LOL. I don't think there's a team in the NBA that wouldn't want an Alex Caruso on their team that comes off the bench. I don't think there's a squad in the NBA. If you said, hey, you could have Alex Caruso, that doesn't want that dude on their team. So, Peter, you're not wrong in the, hey, you got to build around Luka Doncic. I don't think you're wrong there. But I think if you're underplaying how important Alex Caruso is to the Oklahoma City Thunder and how important he could be on any team, trust me when I tell you this, teams out there would grab Alex Caruso in a heartbeat if they could. But the Oklahoma City Thunder, smart as they were, kind of the game plan and what the decisions were, obviously smart right there. Okay, let me read a couple more of these here. This is more on the Alex Caruso piece. Good for Caruso. He earned it. Guy's a man. Absolutely the man. Let's see what we got here. Jarvis, Wolves in 5. Interesting. Yeah, I got to be honest with you. If I'm making predictions here, and maybe we could do this a little bit later in the show, I'm going to need somebody to convince me that the Minnesota Timberwolves are better than the Oklahoma City Thunder, because I'm not I'm not there at all. I'm working on trying to get Alan Horton on, who does the Wolves radio broadcast. I'm working to try to get him on later in the week. He's got a pretty crazy schedule right now, so we'll see if we're able to do it or not. But I just look at the Minnesota Timberwolves and I look at their path. They got through the Lakers, who tested them 0. The Lakers, nothing. I mean, literally, to me, one of the more bigger surprises to start the playoffs. But Minnesota just handled them. And then how do we call the Golden State Warriors a test for them? That's not a test. Steph Curry was out. So they're clearly not going to have any chance. Now they're going up against a team that won 68 games during the regular season. I'm going to need somebody to go ahead and convince me that I'm going to need somebody to convince me that the Minnesota Timberwolves are real deal, have been tested, and are ready to take down the Oklahoma City Thunder, because I don't think I'm there. I definitely don't. All right, let me get some more in here. Caruso, the Jokic stopper. How about that? How about this dude? Just doing everything he possibly can to, obviously to make his life, to make Jokic's life a little bit crazy. And I thought he did a good job doing it. Pelinka deserves another promotion. We're going to, let's get into it right now. Let's do this right now. By the way, this one, would you trade AR for Caruso? I don't think so. I don't think that's the conversation of like Alex Caruso or Austin Reeves. I don't think that's the conversation. They're two completely different players. If you ask me today, what type of player is more needed on this Lakers team? Well, I think we've already talked about, if you're trying to put together a roster that makes sense, I don't think I want AR and Luka in my backcourt. I don't think I want that as my starting backcourt. If you're trying to put a squad together, I think the point with Alex Caruso is you had a guy that had a lot of value in the NBA, and clearly you didn't think he had that much value, and you let him go walk to the Chicago Bulls. That was clearly a mistake, period. Like I don't really understand if anybody's trying to say that the Lakers didn't make a mistake on Alex Caruso or on Caruso. I don't really understand what the justification is. There is no justification. All right, thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.